Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. How are we all doing today? It's been a while since I've just, hopped on a stream and babbled a little bit. Probably the last time was getting on and playing Path of Exile at the last League launch. And that was not a lot of babbling. I jumped into the game pretty quick. I probably will jump into GM prep pretty quick, but I've been really bad at getting up, on stream and stuff, man. It's not been a thing I've been great at recently. I've been getting used to this new job that I have. Loving it, by the way. Quite enjoy the job. So it's not a situation where I'm, miserable at work and it's making it impossible to stream. But I do get off of work at 11 p.m. some nights. Some nights, yeah, most nights, 9 to 10 p.m. But if we have a booking, I get off at, 11 something. Potentially 11:30. So, it's a little hard to stream after work. And at first, I was only working 2 days a week, so I was going to have, pretty big gaps between work days where there was, plenty of time to stream. But now, it goes, pretty often my schedule is, work on Tuesday, off Wednesday, work Thursday, off Friday, work Saturday, and then I'm off Sunday and Monday. But I have Moto's Pathfinder campaign on Sunday evening until, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, depending. So that makes it tough to squeeze in the streams. And I'm working on it. I'm trying to, when I have that day off between work days, it's very tempting to just veg out and play games, catch up on stuff, for being at work for just an entire day. I have long shifts, which I like, because it leaves me a lot of time to work on the music stuff on days off. But yeah, I'm just trying to carve out time to get used to streaming again a little bit. I think it will be reasonable to continue the kind of 3-day-a-week schedule, and then I leave one day just completely off. I don't know what day that'll be. It's I'm learning already. I think Sunday is going to be my day off, but I'm learning already that if I leave the GM prep, if I don't do it on Friday, because I've been trying to get on and do GM prep for a month and a half. If I don't do it on Friday, I very quickly run out of time. Run out of the block of time at this computer where I need to be at to prep maps and stuff, because it's where all my map assets are and everything. So, so I think I'm going to be trying to do GM prep on Friday, music Monday, and then the game on the Pathfinder game on Wednesday. I think that's kind of the plan. And we'll see. I need to get into the habit of doing it. And then Zomboid's going to come along. Zomboid Roleplay is going to come back, and that's going to be a whole separate tricky thing, because I work on Thursdays, and Zomboid is still going to be on Thursdays. Don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if I'm just going to, jet home and then get on stream as soon as I get home. I don't know if I'm going to, hang out at the office and play Zomboid for 3 hours after work. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hello, Nick. Welcome. It's lovely to be seen again. Lovely to be here. Doing the thing. I forgot to press the button. I'm going to... Hopefully this doesn't break everything. I'm sorry if it does. But I'm going to turn on my... all my chats and stuff. And my alerts. I forgot to turn on StreamerBot and VoiceBot, VocalBot, SpeakerBot. That's what it's called. I'm gonna turn those on. So, all of that said, the plan for today is to get back into a little bit of GM prep. I haven't done that in a while. I've been bad about that. So we're gonna try to do that today. I'm gonna go through our weekly GM prep sheet. That has been our companion for this campaign, and that should be good fun. There are some secrets and clues that I need to sprinkle in there. So we're gonna work on that, and then I believe one of the last things that I did on stream, that I prepped on stream, was working on the Lanova overworld map. And now we're gonna be doing the Rudel overworld map, which is much smaller. Should be much easier to populate, because if you remember. Oh my god, it went to the right monitor. I haven't hit the main monitor in months, but it knew. It knew where it needed to be. Okay, well, not months. Then I guess it qualifies. It's been a month and a half. Anyway, so this is kind of the last thing we worked on. We didn't even totally finish it. I was like, the campaign stuff, we're gonna leave all of this alone. Nothing's gonna happen in the upper left. What's the button again? Yeah, the upper left, we're gonna leave alone. We're only really working down here. Well, this app is like the Windows image preview. This is just the image preview. So yeah, we worked on this area down here where most of the, like, around the capital of New Lanova, which is Old Lanova, because we knew that most of the action was going to happen down here. I was comfortable limiting it to that. And someday we'll come back and we'll work on all this stuff in the upper left. Probably for the next campaign or another campaign. I don't think we'll need this anytime in this campaign. Anyway, the party is now heading to Rudel, which I knew they would head to. And we worked on something else. We worked on Temel. Oh, this is just the height map. That's not correct. Did I not export Temel? Okay, we'll do that. We'll export Temel today, because that's going to be relevant soon. That's funny. So anyway, we worked on this part down here, but we haven't put Rudel together, so we'll do that at some point. What app was it made with? I made this all in Wonderdraft. Wonderdraft is the app that I made this with. I like using Dungeon Draft for my dungeons. I like using Wonderdraft for my world maps. Yeah, I used to use Incarnate for world maps, and that works fairly well. I don't know what... I had some kind of... Something really bothered me about Incarnate, and I don't remember what. So I spent the, like, 20 bucks to get Wonderdraft. And now I haven't used Incarnate in years, so I couldn't tell you. But Incarnate's gotten a lot better from what I hear. I like Wonderdraft. I like Wonderdraft. My biggest complaint, by far, with Wonderdraft is that it's hard to make oceanside cliffs. That's a tricky thing. In my previous campaign, we tried making like a peninsula with like some cliffside stuff, and it's like kind of hard to work out. You have to like preset some cliff graphics and then like draw your landmass to fit in what you can piece together with the cliff graphics. And I did not do that at first. And so it became a huge... I was like, I'm just not going to put in the work to do that. But now I know. Now I know. Next time I need a region with cliffy stuff around the water, you got to set up the cliffs first. So yeah. Anyway, Wonderdraft is the answer. Yeah. So, like I said, we'll be working on Rudel down here. Shouldn't take too long. It's not a huge area. I don't think it needs to be super populated with stuff. It's going to be kind of like high up in the mountains, despite how close to the ocean it is. And it's kind of like tucked in between all of these. This like big mountain range that kind of curls all the way around it. I think we'll look at... We will try to hammer that out today. I have a dungeon that I gotta start working on, but I don't think we're gonna do it today. Probably. But I'm looking forward to that. I drew up like a sketch of the next dungeon on my iPad while I was at work. I have a lot of downtime at work. It's one of the great benefits of my current job. So I drew up a sketch over Saturday, over all my little like gaps in busyness on Saturday. I drew up a sketch of the next dungeon from the top with like multiple layers, and then from the side. Drawing dungeons from the side, I know now why so many modules come with like side cutouts of the dungeon. Very helpful for like visualizing the dungeon and coming up with places where like verticality can matter in dungeons, because no one does enough verticality in maps, like in their handmade maps. So it's definitely a weak point of mine where I'm like, you are on this floor of the dungeon. It is a flat floor. You never need to go up or down. And now this time doing like the side cutout, I'm like, oh, can do all this cool stuff with verticality. I can make rooms that are more than a flat floor. And I was very excited about it. So we'll be working on that. It's a pretty big dungeon. Don't tell my players. I'm a little nervous because we're going from like one dungeon to potentially like jumping right to another one and right to another one, because so far we have used Turris's dungeon floors. Turris is a dungeon ancestry. That's a whole thing. Check out the custom ancestries by Battlezoo B series if you're confused. But he is a dungeon. He is a dungeon core, and he has like an avatar that walks around, but he also just is a tower that physically exists in the world at the same time. So after we kind of wrap up this arc, the kind of in-between thing is going to be handling his dungeon floor, the next dungeon floor, which will reveal some lore and a potential personal quest for him. And there's also potential stuff with ley lines, because I thought the party was going to go to the ley line nexus that I was kind of pointing them towards, and then they would come and figure out where the Arx Systinium is. Instead, they wandered away from the ley line nexus to go handle the Arx Systinium like right away. Now that they've kind of, it's smart, they've like handled the imminent threat in Lanova, decided to go get the Arx Systinium, and then they will come back and maybe deal with the ley line nexus, but maybe it's just not a big deal yet. So there's potentially like 3 dungeons in a row, but we'll try to make... I already know Turris's dungeon is going to be an entirely different vibe for his dungeon floor. Probably only take 1 or 2 sessions to get through that. And the ley line nexus will also be an entirely different vibe. I can differentiate them pretty well. So this is going to be the only like big explorable dungeon with a decent amount of stuff going on for a while. I have no idea, by the way, like where I'm going to point the players after this. I need to start like seeding some stuff. I need to like force the conversation that one of the players has been hinting at having pretty soon, because right now the party's main thing after they find the Arx Systinium is like, we'll start doing the recap again on the GM prep streams, but for right now, the Arx Systinium is this keep that the main enemy that they've been battling is like afraid of. The spoiler version for you guys is that the Arx Systinium has like a built-in weapon, a built-in protection against aberrations. It is like finely tuned to just evaporate aberration type creatures. And this is what defeated this like big bad that has come to kind of chase after the gods that ran away and became the main gods of this world. Lots of lore there. That big bad evil guy has chased them down after kind of like reforming his body. And he is just afraid of having the same thing happen again. So he wants this keep, this Arx Systinium found and destroyed or taken away from his enemies at any cost. I forgot what I was saying, other than that. So after they get this keep, I don't really know what the next step is. There was some musing with one of the players about maybe trying a big old gambit, locking the big bad evil guy in a time cage to give the players some time to do stuff. And I think that could be cool. That could be the next thing that happens. I should probably review with that player and see if that's still the plan. But otherwise, it's like maybe they come back and find the ley line nexus. Maybe there's a lot of talk of different plans, and I'm gonna need the players to figure out what they want to do. I don't know. Need to start seeding some stuff. There was some talk about bringing back some sealed away gods, and if they want to do that, I should start seeding that this great tree across the sea is kind of the key for that. Yeah, which will also tie into Turris's storyline. So, I'm excited to do all of that. I'm going to stop babbling. I'm doing a terrible job of recapping. Like I said, we'll start doing like the weekly recaps again at some point. I need to Gosh, darn it. Just give me a... I need to bring up Foundry and do some like size comparisons. I don't need to know what's new in Microsoft Edge. By the way, can someone make, just for me, just real quick, can someone make a Chromium-based browser that like doesn't suck? I don't know. I'm like too hipster to use Brave. I don't really want to use Chrome. I suppose I should just use Chromium. Suppose that would be good enough. Instead of using Microsoft Edge. I like Firefox-based browsers. I basically like anything that's not a monopoly, and currently Chrome has the Chromium is like the monopoly's browser system. Controlled by Google, and I've become very anti-Google in the last few years. And even though the Chromium team is supposed to be super separate, I prefer not to use a Chromium-based browser. But every website is made to work better with Chromium-based browsers. So, like, even Foundry has a bunch of tiny little problems with Firefox. That's super annoying to me. So you just need, like, a Chromium browser in your pocket, basically. Just to have access to the sites that don't work. And yeah. If someone could point me in the direction of a good one, that would be greatly appreciated. Like I said, too hipster to use Brave. Too anti-corporate these days to use Chrome or Chromium. There's a cool browser in development called like Ladybird that just isn't based on Chrome, isn't based on Firefox's engine. And I'm curious about that. I hope it does well. I hope it renders things correctly without having to use Chromium. That would be cool. I would be partial towards that browser. Okay. Why is this all... Oh, it hasn't loaded yet. Okay. So I just got to size up our other map real quick. A new Foundry version is available. Ah. Kind of thought they were going to sit on the other build for quite a while. Stable 6. Okay, all right. We'll probably switch to that before the game on Wednesday. Probably do that while I'm at work tomorrow. So anyway, Lanova. I know this map. I'm very happy that it renders well, by the way, and like doesn't lag people. This is 10,000 by 6,000 pixels. Which is just bigger than the limit for Foundry maps used to be. So glad it runs. Glad it runs. That being said, this little corner is Rudel. This is the tiny little country that we're going to. And this is only 300 miles across. 300 miles. What even does that? I don't know. I don't know what resolution I'm gonna make the Rudel map. This is, God, I can't even see that. Greater Lanova is 1,200 miles across. How does that compare? The US is like multiple times that, right? Let me just see real quick. Restart to keep using Firefox. Great. Updates love to drop at just the perfect times. This is going to be an imperfect measurement, but let's just take the distance from San Francisco to Washington, D.C.? Yeah, okay, all right. Only double. Well, a bit more than double. It's 2,800 miles from San Francisco to the District of Columbia. I don't want to zoom out. globe mode. It's fine. Huh. This is maybe chunkier than I thought. I always have trouble scaling things in my maps, like, correctly. So, I have a hard time getting a sense of how big things are in the real world, how small things are in my game. I feel like everything I make in-game is, like, tiny, tiny, tiny in terms of actual land size taken up. Anyway, so that's all well, good and nice. Okay, so this is only 300 across. Dum-dum-dum-dum. So we should either make it... We could do a quarter of the size. Have it be 2,500 by 1,500. That's probably what we should do. Okay, I'll start loading that up. Did I say 1,200? Yeah, pretty much 1,200 exactly. Rudel is... I guess that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. Okay. So we'll just open this up at 2,500 by 1,500. And we'll let that load up with all the custom assets and everything in the background while we work on the session sheet. And there's a lot of work. A lot of work to do on this week. Oh, shit. Opened it on the wrong panel. I mean, I guess it's fine. That would have been acceptable. But we have standards and tradition. Session S2E27. We're close. We're close to switching over to a new season of the game. I need to fix my little script. It thinks that the games are on Saturdays still. I just need to update the script to point it towards Wednesdays instead. So, I guess, yeah, what do we need? This is not a very structured GM prep stream, let me tell you that. So, we will do a tiny little recap just so you know what I'm babbling about for a little while. The party came to this village. They had met some people from this village, thwarted them in capturing some captives, some hostages that they were going to sacrifice for some kind of ritual. None of the people knew anything about the ritual. So, they came to the town to investigate. They found these 8 kind of poles, these 8 pillars, stakes, something, sticking up. Forgot what I was calling them. We'll just call them pillars. Arranged in a circle around one kind of cross-shaped, X-shaped construction, much taller. That was kind of confusing. But they were preparing for this ritual that they had heard about. One fellow named Garvin was seen to be the boss. Isha saw some familiar alien-like creatures called Unravelers, who are a species of Ruchalik. Flying around, they're kind of the spies, kind of the workers of the Seraph. These aberrations from space. They just are aliens. Born of the darkness of space. So, they were here keeping an eye on things. The party kind of tried to convert some of the people here, did an okay job, and then ended up just kind of fighting with Garvin, the fellow in charge of this ritual. Killed him, killed the unravelers that were accompanying him, managed to get all of these troops of villagers, of cultists, to kind of settle down and spoke some reason into them. Probably easier than actually speaking reason into cultist should be, but this is, you know, this is a party of heroes. They are capable of heroic things, like convincing this town that it is not in their best interest to follow this unseen seraph, this creature from afar, to put their trust in him. So, convince the townspeople, maybe not to, like, work with them necessarily, but just to look out for the community here, which they found a lot of the villagers kind of valued more than the specific teachings of the seraph and the old gods in space. At least, you know, in general. So, this community is going to try to stick together and find a way to move through their problems. Meanwhile, Isha was sneaking around town and found the subject of this ritual, named Sentry. This automaton fellow who looks a bit like a friend that they have, only much larger. A construct of the Four. He is badly injured, kind of had his limbs deactivated in various ways, and they haven't found this yet, but he's been corrupted by a void wisp. A void crystal that we will take a look at in a little bit. So he was to be the focus of the ritual. They do not know what it was about yet, but they found a ritual book on Garvin that he was working out this ritual through. So that is one thing that we have to work on today, is what was that ritual? I mean, I already kind of know, but we have to present it to the players in a way. What was the ritual? How much information are they going to get from this ritual? And I have a lot of cool ideas about that. And, like, what is going on with Sentry over here? There is this idea, by the way, that these constructs of the Four, these automatons, some of them are, like, blessed with a soul and sentience, and some of them are not. I couldn't decide which way to go with Sentry, but I think he will be, because it's more dramatic if they fuck up and fail and he gets corrupted by this crystal and doesn't get saved. So that's the way we're going with it, just because it's more dramatic. They've been running into a suspiciously high number. Yes, a soul automaton. I have beef with the way Pathfinder presents automatons. Mostly because it pulled the rug out from under my feet. I had been calling things automatons in the game for a long time. I had my own established, like, lore about automatons. And then, without me realizing, they released a playable ancestry called the automaton, which is an automaton, as described, some kind of construct, some kind of thing with a soul, enlightened with a soul. I was like, that's just not what, like, the dictionary definition of an automaton is. Like, an automaton is a thing that's like a facsimile of being alive. If you take a facsimile of something that is alive and then you make it alive, isn't it just, like, not an automaton anymore? But you can call the entire race that. You can call an entire ancestry a conflicting term and completely screw over my lore. That's totally fine. Paizo. Automatic moving construct, not an actual soul-having robot. Exactly. Like, you say automaton, you think those, like... You think, like, the wind-up, like, fortune teller torso in a booth and stuff, you know? You think of, like, the robotic birds and things like that. Like, stuff Da Vinci would have scrawled in his, you know, notebooks. Not a thing that actually has a soul. So I was apparently confusing all my players with this terminology by continuing to use the word automaton, because they thought I was referring to the ancestry that I didn't know existed, because I don't read every new book that comes out. So I had to change the terminology, and I haven't come up with a... I've just been calling them constructs. I've been calling them servitors, that kind of thing. So I suppose it is fair to call this one an automaton because it does have a soul. So whatever. And that's my babbling done. Anyway, we gotta find this, gotta figure out what information we're gonna present in this book. So it will be a lot of me babbling as I go over my notes. So we'll put that as the opening on scene. This is the point where Paizo lore gets stopped, yeah. You can see I got very far in my last week's notes. I wrote, for the scenes in last week, I wrote Star Dreamer Village, which I handled pretty well, given those notes, I would say. It was a good time. I ran that pretty well. And then I had notes for Rudel, and I wrote down Duchess. Because I still haven't given her a name. So, you know, I was pretty confident that I didn't need that much information to run last week's game, but we should endeavor to be more complete this week. I get lazy when I'm not streaming my GM prep, so that's another reason why I gotta get back on it. Having to babble about it really, like, points out weak points in my prep for me. My ability to take notes is so fried. I basically tell my players if they don't have the notes, it stops existing. Pretty much same. Like, my actual notes of what happened last time are completely blank. The session before that, the party brings Stev with. He will show the way to the camp. Rolled well on acrobatics. For what? Dunno? Oh, yeah, I actually do remember. That's his, like, primary stat. I rolled which stat he was going to be good at, and it happened to be acrobatics. Because for once, they turned an NPC that I didn't... The party brought Stev into existence, decided he was going to follow the party around, and decided he had to be good at something. So I rolled randomly on the list of skills to see what he was good at, and it's acrobatics. And they can give him a specialization later if he sticks around. It's so funny. It was done by Moto, who has complained about how many, like, NPC children the party is adopting this campaign. So it was very amusing to me. Session before that, I wrote down names, which is better than usual. I wrote down Stev. Garvon is the leader. Parrot is the dead leader of the scouts they ran into. And Evanon is a woman, the woman who cut the. That's pretty good. Just stopped mid-sentence and never went back and finished it. Not gonna finish it today. Staying like that. Forever. All right. It was gonna be cut the captives loose, for the record. But, you know, when the archaeologists find that bit of data, they'll ponder. They'll wonder what this what do you call it, first order source on these events could have possibly meant. All right. So we are opening on Isha's conversation with Sentry. By the way, the whole idea, or the whole naming scheme with the constructs, with the servitors, is just that they literally are, like, named their title. I try not to make it like a too active of a verb. Like, one of them is envoy. They're usually nouns. It's like envoy, sentry, regent, constable, that kind of thing. Only one of them has had like a proper noun name. And that she was like the second in command of one of the gods. So, I try not to make it like an ER word. I try not to make it like hunter or jailer or anything like that. I try to make it like a proper title and not like... I don't even... What are those words called? What are ER words called? It's like turning verbs into nouns. I don't know, whatever. I try to stay away from those. And it was Steris, I think, who found the ritual book? Investigating the ritual book. So I have more to discuss on the ritual book right away. So, modified from a ritual to create an avatar or one of the 4 out of one of their servitors. Effectively allowing the deity to inhabit the robot, or the servitor. Time to Google the art? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know if they have, like, a label. What do we listen to next? We blew through that fast. Something fantasy-oriented? What did I used to? I used to put on Octopath remixes. It's gone. I don't see it. Uh-oh. We could just listen to this one. This is fine. Just the OST. Not a problem. All right, so modified from a ritual to create an avatar for one of the 4. Yes. Apparently it isn't an actual term. It's just a morpheme on words that mean one who, that which. Okay, all right. Acceptable answer. Fine with that. One of my stream windows just deeply confused me. Anyway. I don't think I'm going to explicitly mention. How did I used to signify hidden information? I don't actually remember. I gotta go look at one of my old like dungeon notes. Oops. I definitely have like an existing syntax for this information is for you, the GM, to expand upon, not specifically give out explicitly. Temple Front should have one. Oh, nope. Man. All right, fine. Apparently, I'm totally wrong. Oh, I just, like, didn't write notes for some of these either. It's so funny. Okay. All right, fine. Let's see. Okay. So I'll just put it in parentheses and assume that I will remember what that means. Intending to warp the ritual to allow, or to grant, to allow the Seraph to create a similar avatar. I was kind of hoping I don't know why I would let the party get to the place and interrupt the ritual before this happened, but I was kind of hoping that they would manage to get the ritual to go off. Like, I should have had it set up. Really, I should have thought through this beforehand, but I should have had it set up so the ritual was happening as they arrived to put some time pressure instead of giving them all the time in the world to scout things out and solve the problem. But if the ritual, like, started and got partially completed, like the ritual participants got a couple of successes, then Sentry would be, like, slowly turning into this avatar after the ritual ended and be making, like, saves against it, and the party would have to decide what to do. For now, I've replaced this with, he got hit by this gem, this void crystal. We can show, as long as if there are any players here, get out. But yes, this void fragment, which is an item that, as far as I can tell, is just kind of a trap. It gives you some kind of Illithid-like abilities where you get, like, thought sense for a while and telepathy, and you can activate a teleportation and, like, you know, it gives you powers, but then also you eventually just die. So, oh, this might be harder to get rid of than I thought. I guess I get to make up the rules, but but yeah, as you, like, get progressively worse with this sickness, once you die, you just turn into an apparition, so he could still technically turn into the avatar of this Seraph. Let's see. And to get rid of it, apparently there are no saves. Let's see. After you are afflicted with this, there just are no saves. Touch the wisp vanishes, giving the point of contact a gangrenous color. If the partaker succeeds at the initial save, the wisp reappears somewhere else. So there's, like, a save, there's an initial save. And then other than that, I don't think you keep making saves. Anyway, to get rid of it without that initial save, you must find and slay a powerful aberration, or a servant of such creature that the GM deems appropriate. The creature must be of your level or higher. Then someone must cast a Rest Eternal ritual on you and the dead being. You must be anointed with the same oils the ritual normally requires. If the ritual results in a success, it casts the slain creature into the void along with the void fragment inside you, ending its effects on you. Rest Eternal is a level 4 ritual, not too bad, for a level 13 item. Oh, but it gets harder the higher the effect level is. So it'll take 13 times 25 gold's worth. That's what, 250? It's like 325 gold. That's not that much still. So rare oil is equal to 325 gold. Okay. Okay, interesting. That's not too bad. That would be an interesting wrinkle to have. The party's, like, full of casters, so having them go figure this ritual out is not that absurd. Okay, anyway. Let's see. So to go along with this, Sentry will tell the party. Garvon. Yeah, Garvon pressed a strange crystal to him. Garvon was careful not to touch it himself. Burned that location and left a strange mark. If pressed, he will explain that he started to glimpse the thoughts of those around him. Yeah, he will probably only be at the first level of this affliction. If this is like an actual status I can apply. So they have effectively... I need to read how this works, but they might have 2 months to figure this out. So that's not too bad. When you arrive in a space after using the activation to teleport. Yeah, I need to reread this whole thing later. Imprecise thought sense. To have your telepathy's range. Increases to 60 feet. Tough time filtering mental noise. When you arrive in a space after using the activation to teleport. The activation to teleport. The first time you enter this stage from a given void fragment, in the effect of a potion of true speech for 3 days. Resistance to mental damage. Oh, and there's the activation. You teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. If you use 2 actions, you can teleport up to 60 feet. Okay. After using the activation to teleport, strange geometry. Okay. Area 4 cubes. Swell, bend, and break, twisting together in a bizarre spatial geometry. Okay. Weird. That's so weird. All right. So strange geometry is just like a difficult terrain. Okay. All right. So that's not like a wild activation. You teleport, and then you get to make some difficult terrain around you. That's all. Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. So Steris is investigating the ritual book, modified from a ritual to create an avatar for one of the 4. They were trying to allow the Seraph to create a similar avatar. Let's see. Instead of prayer, the modified ritual brings visions to the sacrifices. As determined by the... I don't know, by the deity and something related to the ritual. I don't know. The deity being called by the ritual. I think that's really all we need. I thought I was gonna have more to write. I might try to make might try to make this as pages. Like I might make a journal of book pages that writes all of this out. Maybe. I might do that. Okay, so there's that, and then there is, when we get to Rudel, There's definitely stuff in Rudel. I still don't really know what they're gonna do. Like, I don't know what the players are gonna do when they get to Rudel. So it's tricky to come up with too many scenes, but there's definitely going to be stuff at the capital of Rudel, which is called, ? I don't know. I have a habit of just making the country and, like, the capital sound too similar, oftentimes. Do you prefer to think in scenes or, like, points of interest? A bit of both. In this campaign, I've had to think in scenes a lot more. It kind of depends on the location, what's going on. They're going to be going into some, like, political stuff. So I'm not going to, like, script out a scene necessarily, but I'm going to figure out what the Duchess here wants and what she thinks about some other stuff that's going on right now. Some more on-the-spot recapping. Rudel is kind of the... what do you call it? They're, not a tributary. That's the wrong word. But they're like a vassal, I suppose, of the kingdom of Temel. They kind of both exist in this... They exist in this kind of mountained off area together. And they are kind of the two independent states compared to Greater Lanova. This whole area is like conquered by one king at this point, and then Temel and Rudel down here are off on their own, thanks to the mountains around in the surrounding area. So Temel has tried very hard to be neutral, keep separate from Lanova, just like not interact at all if possible. But suddenly, after the Seraph's arrival, they have declared war on Lanova and Tamliok. I wonder why. I wonder if there's anything in there that could have prompted that. I wonder if there's any... if that's related in any way. So as this, like, big war with the Seraph is about to happen, suddenly Temel also declares war on Lanova. So the party is venturing over to kind of try to stop that war, do their best to prevent that war from happening so everyone can just focus on the Seraph. Because it's obvious that the Seraph is trying to drive wedges where he can. These, like, Void Servants are trying to cause as much infighting as possible, because not most people are going to be super, super down with the, like, Void Overlord coming and taking things over. So he's trying to exploit differences that already exist, trying to say that he will solve these differences for the people involved. He is the solution, right? Typical... In some ways, it's very, like, typical tyrant stuff. So yeah, the party is going to be going to Rudel first to try to apply pressure on Temel. Geopolitical scheming is par for the course. Yeah. Basically, like, he is this invading void entity, but he doesn't have a huge army with him. He has a very limited force with him that's kind of, like, snuck through the defenses of the gods of this world. And so he needs to make an army here and deal with the resources that he has to get what he wants. So it's not like an overwhelming invasion. It is a very surgical thing that he's trying to do in some ways. And the party's already robbed him of some ways that he could expand his forces rapidly. He was going to recruit a very particular god that early on in the campaign, the party freed and got on their side. So yeah. So he's looking elsewhere. And I've restarted the sentence a bunch of times, but they're going to Rudel to try to convince them to help with Temel. Try to stop the war through, like, kind of recruiting Temel's closest ally. They will find that the person in charge of Temel is not totally, thinking in reasonable, logical terms, so political pressure is not a thing that's going to work on the person currently in charge. But it's a good place to start, and it's not bad to get them as an ally. So, Duchess, I need a name for her. Her sister? Is it sister is Redmore? Was it cousin? How did I have this lined up? This is the trouble with reintroducing characters from a campaign in 2019. Let's see. Let's just look up Rudel and see what pops up. Morgan Redmore. The son of her Duchess and Rudel, she built up relations between Temel and Eden. Redmore notes. Don't pay attention to any of these spoilers. I mean, like, actually don't if you're a player, but... Okay. Nothing there. Small duchy between Temel and Lanova, ruled by Duchess. Duchess blank. Okay, so I don't think I described a relationship, actually. But we'll go through some of these notes real quick. Traveling north of Temel. But move on. These are all the gosh darn same. I do need to bring back this. Well, no, I think I told them that folktale already, so that's fine. Is this all the same? Rudel Castle, Rudel Castle, Rudel Castle. Oh, the party did learn, right, the party learned that the sketch of the Huntsman's Amulet is the crest of the Rudel royal family. Duchess is a widow. 2 sons, eldest is still missing, 1 daughter, who I think is still there. Okay, they didn't learn any family ties. Beneath Rudel Castle, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. So these notes had nothing interesting. Okay, I think I'm in the clear. I haven't said anywhere that the Duchess is related to Queen Redmore. So that's great. I do still need to name her. We'll come up with something. I've been using Irish as like the kind of reference accent for the location, like the linguistic reference for a lot of the stuff. I don't know if I want to do that for like names. I guess that makes sense. So maybe something vaguely Irish. Yeah, I had no problem doing that with another region, so I don't know why I'm like hesitating. Or, oh right, I have to restart to keep using Firefox. I don't wanna do that. Firefox. Not that name randomizer. Oh, I need fantasy name generator. It is like the best site. Jesus, how are you having so much trouble getting me to the right site? Gosh darn Bing. Isn't it just like fantasynamegenerator.com? Oh, I was trying to find the one that like wasn't an ad. I like, if I'm already searching for a site, I don't like clicking on like an ad for the site to make them pay for ad spot, but that was the top and only listing. So whatever. Real names. Europe, Irish. I do need... Oh, I guess that works. I do like O'Quinn. Wolf is funny. This is a spoiler, but the missing prince is gonna be a werewolf. There's a lot going on with the missing prince. Because he is one of the mercenaries that killed, like, Steris's family. But since I have a few people to work with, this missing prince is not a good guy. But he was... I get to make it a not super clear choice for Steris on this one. Because... he was like under the effects of this like werewolf's curse, was kind of like slowly losing control of himself to that, and doesn't have memories of it anymore because he was brought in by like their kind of mortal enemy in this campaign so far, the Eye of the Seraph. What was his? I don't even remember his name off the top of my head. Old guy. Old scholar guy back where the party all came from. Santalaria. Whatever his first name was. Anyway, got captured by that guy. Kind of the schemer who set up a lot of the Stardreamer stuff from early in the campaign. And had his, like, mind rewritten, had his memories kind of erased by... Santalaria and his like Ruchalic minions. Ruchalics are kind of the void creatures that can kind of like mess with memories and stuff. So, lots going on there that might make it so Steris doesn't necessarily want to kill this guy, or at least has to ask some hard questions about it first. Of like, and he also conveniently is the missing prince of Rudel, but doesn't remember and has information that could help them find the next... Well, doesn't have information, has a relic that could help them find the next castle. So there's a lot of reasons for them to maybe... Anyway, it's very funny that Wolf would come up as one of the... We're going to make it Wolf. We're going to make the Duchess's last name be Wolf. Ida Wolf, maybe? I like that. That doesn't sound like most names that I throw into the game at random, so we're going to make her be Duchess. Do I put it in her... I guess not. I was like, do we put it in the file name? Not totally sure. You got any future NPCs or any characters you want me to try to make art of? Ooh. Practice for me, free art of questionable quality for you? No, that's great. I have a very... I need to figure out I've been dreading drawing the unseen seraph, who is an angel-like figure, but more to the biblically accurate side, whose face is obscured by 3 wings of white plumage, body is obscured by 3 more wings of white plumage, and then flies on 3 final wings that kind of like flap beneath him. No eyes, no, like, you cannot see the body beneath because it is all obscured in wing. So I'm dreading having to draw this fucking weird-ass thing I've described. I'm not going to inflict that upon you, but it's a mess of a thing to try to draw, and I don't know how I'm ever gonna do it. So, yeah. I don't know. If I make the campaign infinite length, I never have to draw the seraph. Sounds like something. Shoot me details whenever, and I'll give it a go. Because YOLO. I appreciate that. I will send you that description, and also a related picture. I will send you a related image. That is also kind of a big spoiler. So I will do that. There are more humanish pictures coming up that I'll take a think on that too, for something that's a little more reasonable to draw. This prince wouldn't be a bad option if I don't want to put like a tight timeline on it, and he might show up relatively soon. Not next week, not this week, but maybe like next week, maybe 2 weeks from now, probably before the end of August. So I don't want to put that kind of time crunch down. That is a option that is a bit more sane. What the heck did I say? Ida Wolf. Okay. Okay, so then we just click the document. This is a wonderful thing about Obsidian, is you just like tag something in an existing document, and then you just click it, and it like makes a new page for it immediately if it doesn't already exist. So now I can just type in very quickly, like, this is a person. This is an NPC. The name is Ida Wolf. The status is not deceased. Faction is Tamil, Kingdom of Tamil. Home continent is Aldhelm. Home country is Rudel. Home region is the Songale Sea Mountains. So now I have like a snapshot of the character. And I can just write. I should have like a title thing in here or something. But I could like use status for that, I guess. It would kind of pollute the status entries, but maybe I can, maybe. For now, I'll just type it in here. Let's see. Ida Wolf is the Duchess of Rudel. Then we can come back and babble about that later. And the nice thing about these links, kind of nice thing, is that they don't work off of a specific file path, which is great when you're working in Obsidian. It does break the links a little bit. It breaks the links when you like export them and you try to upload, if you try to upload the markdown as like a GitHub Pages site or anything like that, it does break the links. But since the links are just like the name of the file, like you can just do a search, like you can scan a document. It wouldn't be too hard to write a script, and people have already written a script that scans the document for bracket, bracket, whatever, bracket, bracket, searches for this file, and then like inserts the actual link to that file. So, it's more portable than stuff like Notion. Notion links to very specific pages, and when you export it, it just like completely breaks and is not very recoverable because the page doesn't go off of it. I don't know. Notion uses something very different. Let's see. Should look up a pronunciation for wolf and see how it's actually pronounced, but it probably is just wolf. Which is Ida Wolf is alarmed by Temmel's declaration of war. Was not warned beforehand. But is not keen on breaking with Temmel. And will need convincing. I'm not gonna bother to even set a DC right now. I'm just gonna do like a level-based DC, like +2 probably, maybe even +5, and then if the party does work to bring the DC down, we'll go from there. I'm not going to... I don't know. If they manage to, like, bring back the missing... I guess prince isn't even the right word, necessarily, but the missing... Well, yeah. Okay. Just a terminology thing. She is the Duchess of Rudel, which is considered a territory of Temmel. But the people of Rudel consider her the queen as well. She's like both of these things. That's... I'm sure that was plenty common back in the day. I think that was, pretty sure that was a thing. In kind of medieval Europe. You had people who were the duke or duchess of a place, but then also the king or queen of another place or the same place, you know. Like they were the top. They were the top of one tree that happened to be a branch of another tree. You know what I'm saying? That may for now be kind of all I need. If I get to it in the specifics, I think that's like unhelpful here. Let's see. If the party asks about about the amulet on the huntsman, it is son broke into the royal crypts beneath the castle and stole a very similar amulet. Said to lead the way to... I don't know what they would call it. It would lead the way to the Arx Sistinium, which is kind of the floating keep that they are hunting for. This weapon against the Seraph that the Seraph is afraid of. His music is blasting a little bit, isn't it? Try to find. How's that? That looks okay compared to my voice. Okay. So I don't know what the royal family would call the Arc Sistinium, but I guess the Royal Sanctuary? The Royal Family Sanctuary? I need to figure out why the fuck the four, like, entrusted this place, entrusted the Arc Sistinium to this royal family. There's got to be some other piece to it that I just haven't thought of at all. Like, it's cool that the family is tied to this place, but, like, fucking why? That's a pretty big deal. Like, why is this family an important enough group of mortals that this, like, trump card of the gods who came and took over the world, like, that they have access to it at all? Why is that a thing? I have a quick answer to that question. Something I should have been thinking about for months. But I'm only asking it now. Super on the ball. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be an answer that I come up with on stream. That's going to be an answer that I, like, hallucinate while on a walk with my dog with, like, blasting music. Like, that's when I'm going to come up with that answer. So, I don't know if we're going to linger on that too much. Why do royal family have access to the arcs? Complete shower thought answer, yeah. We'll see. We'll try to figure it out. I've got all day tomorrow at work to think about it too, so. Oh, shit. Okay. This is another one of those times where if there's, like, a player who's here, you need to leave. I'm sure there's not. But if you are, get out. So, there's a character. We've already talked about how the four can be, like, summoned into an avatar made up of their automatons, their servitors. There's also already a character who has been introduced again from Campaign 1, who has come back and become a big character in this campaign, who is just inhabited by Denala, the goddess, one of the four, who betrayed the other three and sealed them all away because she, according to this story, she felt guilt over kind of like the violent way they were putting down this rebellion against them, effectively. That's a whole long story. But anyway, so this goddess betrayed the others, and then she has this family that I don't know if they are literally like her descendants or if it's just like a bloodline that is magically tied to her. I don't know if it's like a literal blood tie versus something like that. So this family could be the same for one of the other gods. Maybe they all had this contingency. And I'm hesitating to... I've already, like, dehumanized the four a lot. So I don't want to villainize the four too much more. Because I kind of promised I would stop. I promised I would make them not just, like, evil, heartless bad guys. So maybe I won't in-game call it a contingency plan, but maybe this family... This relic that the prince has like 3 eyes on it the Eye of the Eagle, the Eye of the Mountain, and the Eye of Eternity. And the Eye of Eternity is like a symbol of one of the other gods, of Arcanus. So maybe this is like the contingency family of Arcanus, and instead of having the family be like some group of farmer peasants somewhere, it is just a royal family. Maybe a bloodline blessed by Arcanus. I kind of think that's what I'm going to go with, since if they discover that, which they won't here, they're not going to by talking to Ida. But if they discover that before they discover that the other character is actually like inhabited by Denala, it'll be very cool. It'll be a very cool reveal later that they've been followed around by one of these blessed bloodlines all along. So I think I like that. Okay. So that's neat. What else do we have? Oh boy, finding the path to the Arcs. This is another tricky thing. So, is supposed to be the job of the Amulet of the Royal Family. Need a combination of the eyes. Eye of Eternity. Eye of the Eagle. Eye of the Mountain. Should be some way to get there by emulating these eyes. Alternative solutions. This is where I get in trouble for just like babbling. Like this came up very suddenly as they were doing a royal family investigation. They were looking up some information about the royal family of Rudel. And so I just like, oh, and they got like, yeah, because they got a sketch of this amulet, and then they rolled really good on a history check, figuring out what it was supposed to be, when like a scout saw this amulet on the guy. And so I just babbled off a bunch of stuff about the three eyes. And the Eye of Eternity, and the Eye of the Eagle, and the Eye of the Mountain, and how it looks like, it looks like a three-pointed thing. Not a three-pointed thing. It looks like a hexagon with like 3 quadrants. This amulet. It's like, so it's a hexagon cut into 3 segments effectively. But if you look at it right, it looks like a kind of 3/4 view of a cube, which is the same as the puzzle box that they already have. So they kind of recognize that. Did a lot of good rolls that session with hero points. So they know that the amulet depicts the cube that they already have, the puzzle box that they already have. And then they found out this stuff about the 3 eyes and whatever. So now I must suffer for my babbling. The like thing that I spitballed out, which sounded pretty cool at the time, totally fine. Now I need to figure out what it actually means, and that is that is pain. So the Eye of Eternity cannot be a time thing exactly, because that is not the domain of Arcanus. That is the domain of Scala. So the Eye of Eternity can't necessarily be about time travel or about glimpsing the future. It could be about fuck. I'm mixing gods here. Because I said the Eye of Eternity is like an Arcanist thing, but then I also said that you need like only Scala's the steadiest hand of Scala's best servant or whatever could possibly solve the puzzle blocks. So I realized I'm mixing gods a little bit, but maybe it needs all three. Maybe you need gifts from all three-ish. So the Eye of Eternity can be an Arcanist symbol. The Eye of the Eagle can be a Denala symbol. All four, I mean. Fucking Eye of the Mountain. How does that relate to the Death God? Shit. So you need three of the gods to get there and one of the gods to get you in. And the Eye of the Mountain has to relate to the Shade of Death. I really wish... Glimpse probability. That could work. Timeline shenanigans, yeah. So maybe it's not blessed by Arcanus. Could be blessed by Scala. But probably not the Shade of Death. I said Arcanus initially because the Eye of Eternity is kind of the most notable like symbol on this amulet. It's like the top symbol is very pronounced. But if it's Scala's bloodline and she gave this amulet that has like gives the gift of the other three, because this bloodline already had the final gift, that makes a lot of sense. So I think maybe Scala is the answer. Okay. I like that. I'm definitely going to do something like... They're definitely going to have had nightmares about Isha for ages. Isha is one of the party members, of course. She has been tied to... Both her and Scala were afflicted by a curse when Scala did something timey-wimey with the timelines, and Isha, like, caught the end result of it and has become this, like, force of entropy. Isha is a... a sphinx that is just, like, constantly dissolving to dust and constantly reconstituting herself. As the effect of this curse. So I think that this royal family, if they have Scala's blood, if they're blessed by Scala, they've been having like nightmares about this creature that's gonna come knocking on their door just their entire existence. All right. Make that official. Not keen on breaking with Temel. We'll need convincing. Seems distracted. This is why I love babbling about this on stream. My sessions get immeasurably better when I just, like, sit down and I babble about this stuff. It's on camera. With some, like, feedback in chat as well. Chat has made, like, my games much better. Also, just by being here and, like, throwing ideas at me. Like, I don't think I ever would have come to this conclusion if I wasn't here on stream talking about this stuff. So, I am, once again, delighted to be here. Seems distracted during conversation. Keeps looking at Isha. At some point, says, "Can I show you something?" Leads to a room. With a painting on the wall. Might be a couple paintings. I don't know. Some depiction of Isha. Some abstract depiction of Isha. Bat-like creature. Raining dust. Over Rudel at night. Something like that. Something like that. So. So. I have a feeling that the Eye of the Eagle is going to be the easiest for this party to emulate. The Eye of Eternity... Maybe Isha? Maybe, I don't know. The Eye of Eternity could have something to do with... Yeah, probability and multiple timelines. It could also have something to do with, like, stasis and stability and preservation. And the Shade, I don't know what the Eye of the Mountain's gonna be. Just have no idea. Something about glimpsing the gate to the underworld or something. We will see. I might just not have a solution. I might just tell them. They might find out what all of this means. They need some kind of blessing from Arcanus, some kind of blessing from Denala, some kind of blessing from the Shade. And it's called the Eye of Eternity, the Eye of the Eagle, and the Eye of the Mountain. And they can just babble. I can just pluck out solutions that they throw out. The Eye of the Eagle could be very literal and very easy to do. You just turn into an eagle, maybe. And that helps somehow. Inevitability. I like that. So maybe I'll write down some ideas, and then if they come up with some ideas that I like, I will just attach myself to those ideas and call it good. Yeah, I will, let's see. Okay. So, to recap on the Rudel portion, They may or may not get Rudel to help against Temel, or to apply political pressure against Temel, or to, in some way, delay Temel's declaration of war, delay their war against Lanova. They might find out that this royal family is blessed by Scala, and that they've been having just infinite nightmares about Isha for the entire existence of their bloodline, and they might find out some stuff about the Huntsman, and the amulet, and how the Huntsman stole the amulet, and is actually probably the Prince of Temel. Rudel, not Temel. They may or may not meet the current son and daughter that are there. I don't really think that's important. Unless they decide to press the children for information about dreams, if they've dreamed about Isha yet. And I think, by the way, that the prince has. I think that the huntsman has had dreams about Isha. And like after having his mind wiped and erased, he will have continued having dreams about Isha, which will make their eventual inevitable meeting very interesting. Do I have a huntsman page? How do I not have a page for the huntsman? How have I failed with that so hard? That's wild. Okay. Person, NPC. Kind of a connection. If you consider murdering Steris's sisters as a connection. Anyway. Its name is Huntsman, but it is also... This is not a list, right? Oh, what should his first name be? Do I still have... I closed the name generator. All right. There we go. Ooh, Trevere. I think I like that. Okay. Trevere Wolf. All right. Status. not gonna put a status there. Faction. Kind of confusing because he's not currently with the Kingdom of Temel, but we'll put it on there for now. Is with the Unshackled. Home continent is Altown. Rudel. Song LC. Known as the Huntsman. Bodyman of Santalaria. Augustin Santalaria, that's right. He was once the Prince of Rudel. Came under the werewolf's curse. Stole the amulet of the royal family of Rudel. That's not how you fucking spell. I'm so fucking... Alright. Jesus. Still the amulet of the royal family of Rudel. No one saw that. No one saw that misspelling. We're good. Okay. And fled. Took a part in the killing of Steris' sisters. Sometime later, was captured by Augustine and had his memory and mind rewritten by the Rujalics. Do I have a... I do have an entry for Rujalics. Interesting. Okay, good enough. Assigned to track down the monsters by Augustine. Cool. Oh. Maybe just seeing spirits, the dead. The dead may lead the way to the door of the Arcs, or through the tunnels. To the door of the Arcs. I don't know why that's the eye of the mountain. I gotta come up with some lore shit for that, but that's not a bad idea. And again, just whatever else they come up with would also be excellent. This is like a very obvious answer. Or it being a blessing of the Shade of Death. Oh. Further justification. The Eye of the Mountain. Which has lived to see all of the death and strife that has befallen Rudel. Question mark. Something. Not the final draft. Something like that, though. We'll say that which has lived to see all of the blah, blah, blah. Because that which has is a, I don't know. Sounds very fancy and mythical. Can I, like... I can turn it into a header. Turning it into a header in a bullet list is so weird. The styling gets so weird on this already. Call it a header 2. That looks about right. I could just make it bold. I could. That is literally all that's doing at this point, but it's fine. Okay. Even before this, I suppose, they might be... The name of that bot is kind of funny, really. Okay, anyway. I need like a macro that just hits that puts an H6 down, hits me with the 6 hashtags for a header 6, so I don't have to smash out 6 hashtags every time. Sounds like a simple thing, but I would love to just have like a control something. Insert that for me. I've been working in Linux too much. I'm like an automation fiend now. Okay. So at the base of the mountain, there's going to be some kind of village that they could establish a trade route with the mountain cultists, since that was the request from Evanon. This name generator doesn't have like town names, huh? Place and locations. Oh, but that's not really gonna work. Void names. I should look at that a little bit sometime. They don't have a town. Oh, a city and town. Okay. Oh. They do have, like, subcategories. They don't have Irish, but they have, like, West European, I guess. Hmm. I like Hallweg. Could make it Halvid. There was a Temelian hero. That's not this party, but the previous party learned about a Temelian hero named Halvidus. So we could just call this place Halvid. I do that. I think it was like this. Town near the mountains. And where the monsters emerge from the mountains. From them. Close enough to trade with the cult with Void Town. I need a better name for that place, but whatever. Alright. Alright, good place to start. I think I'm satisfied with these notes for next time. I think there's going to be a lot of talking. I think a lot of time is going to be spent on talking to Sentry and figuring out this ritual. So, I don't really think we need to go too much deeper. We might get to Halvid, and we might get to Rudel and introducing Idlewolf, the Duchess. We might have a long conversation with her. I'm sure Bill's going to be very happy to be coming back next session, where we're probably not going to roll dice and probably not going to fight anything. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. So, for now, I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to run upstairs, stretch my legs a little bit, see if my sleepy pupper over here needs anything. And then we'll come back and we'll work on a map. We'll map out Rudel a little bit. So, I will catch you guys in a few minutes for that. See you soon. All right. I've returned, although give me one more minute actually to put a little note in Discord. Okay, I am back. And we will start working on some stuff. Spend a little bit of time putting together Rudel. This area that we've been talking about for a little while. Do I still have that picture up? I guess I do. I do back here. So we have this little like hook of mountains coming around. We're gonna cut it off like right where this bundle is on my camera down here. So that's pretty easy to do, and we'll do the same little cloud trick we have going on here. We'll just like cloud up everything outside this ring of mountains. So I think we can have land over the whole thing. I'm not too worried about hinting at the ocean over here. That's fine. So let's see, landmass brush. That's probably correct, yeah. I kind of wish there was just... Oh, let's see. Pattern uniform. I've never used this generate button. Huh. Neat. Definitely not helpful here. We're just gonna paint the whole thing. Okay. I kind of thought this was gonna... Got mountains over here. Kind of like hook down over here. This might be taller than we need. This, like... It's fine. We don't have to worry about it. So, I guess we're just gonna start right off with the mountains. As always, the best, most tedious part. So it is approximately right in the middle that the mountains kind of start, right in the middle of Rudel. Yeah. Yeah. About. And then in the middle of the left half, you are going to have this other like mountain formation here. So it'll look something like this. I guess it's really... Big mountains kind of stay down here. They kind of like continue along this border, and then it kind of like builds up back here too. Highest point is like gonna be right up here somewhere. Then it'll kind of taper down. Okay. Yeah, it just kind of curves down towards this, which is going to be kind of the end point. So it's just a steady curve. Kind of a shallow curve until it gets to the end and it kind of accelerates a bit. So just put another mountain like right there. And then this kind of goes up and up and up. Yeah, to about halfway up, I guess. Then starts to curve over pretty dramatically after that to be fairly steady like that. Okay. And we have this layer of kind of shallower mountains. Inside of these like great big ones. Shadows are on the other side. That's gonna make me really mad. That's fine. So then right about here, we've got another big chunk of mountain going on. I guess it's like three or so peaks. Something like that. I should open up the Rudel map and make it like match the exact mountain sprites, but it's really hard to have multiple maps open in Wonderdraft. So, you know. Rudel. Can I open a second Wonderdraft? Is that a thing that I can do? Oh. Was I totally wrong? Is it just super easy to have two open? I guess so. I wonder if it copy and pastes, like, between? Okay. Yeah, Temel is, like, built up. Forgot how much. I kind of really like this map. It's a pretty good map. I don't know if Rudel's gonna meet this quality. But we'll see. So let's see. Symbols. Can I just copy these? Let me just see if I can copy all of that. And then paste. No, I don't think so. Let's see, is there like a... theme? No, stop it. Export, import, save, open new menu. Huh, okay. Extract map data. That's too much. It's too much. Okay. Heck. What? It doesn't even like tell me what symbol name that is, so that's kind of annoying. It looks like, oh, whatever. I used a different mountain style in this map, man. At least for these mountains. Sedge. Yeah, just doesn't work. Shadows are the wrong direction again. Gosh darn. Okay. All right, let's see. I might only need like one of the mountains poking up because this is like down in. I might only need like this top mountain. So let me just, I'm gonna move this over chat for a little while. Sorry guys. And I'm gonna see if I can find that mountain type because it definitely isn't this type of mountain. I wish I could just copy and paste between the windows, man. That would be so nice. I have a feeling it's Penned Mountains large. Okay. It might be multiple, and that's a little bit of a nightmare. Why did it put the shadow on the wrong side? Why is it doing that? There we go. I have a feeling this isn't the right one. These aren't, like, big enough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the right mountain shape in here. Okay. Okay. Let's try. I don't know what to try. I really wish I could just click it and get the information off of this map. I wish it would tell me what pack it was from. But it only tells me what layer it's on. It is a huge fucking mountain. It is very wide. That's definitely too thick. Could it be inked mountains? Large? No, those look totally different. It looks the most like these. Oh. I think it's this one, but reversed. I think it is precisely this one flipped. How do I mirror it? There was a way to flip them. Gosh darn it, man. Wonder Draft? Why you gotta be just a little bit more janky than Dungeon Draft? Change map size, create detail map, preferences. Nope. Repackage map data. That might be useful. Because I've talked about putting these maps up on Patreon, but they like use mods and stuff. So I suppose if I repackage it, that might make it easier to open up and re-edit. I think that's what it does. Anyway. That's the right one. But it's got a... Oh, that's the right one. Sick. It was just on that one already. Okay, get rid of these. Get rid of these. Move this on down here. It's kind of like poking up. It's just totally fine if that mountain is just kind of poking up by itself. There's woods over here. I gotta remember there's woods on the left side. Okay. These mountains over here are a bit more red. The other thing is there's a bunch of small mountains that kind of like wrap up and around here, according to that map. So we will present those. Why are these pointing? Why are they pointing the other way now? I'm so confused about like why all these drew with the shadows on the other side, but it's fine. It's like the mirror hotkey got stuck or something and just didn't. I don't know. Okay, so now we can look back at this map. The most relevant. We don't have to make these like identical or anything, but we will make this look like less of a straight heckin' curve here, I think. I think that's almost good enough. I don't like that these are two identical mountains next to each other, but it's fine. Move one to hide the other, and it... What? What? That's how you flip it? You just tap Alt while you have something selected? Oh, man. I almost made myself so mad. Okay. Can you do that for a bunch? Yeah? I'm not gonna, but good to know. Yeah, so like straight east, there's kind of a valley. But it's all like behind these big mountains. So we do something like this. Delete this mountain, maybe? Flip these. Yeah, look at that. Much more of a valley shape. Sick. I think this is where the party's going to be coming out of, because they're pretty... yeah, probably. Somewhere like that. They'll either be coming out of the north side, which also kind of looks like a valley, or the south side. We'll do one more layer of small-ish mountains. Back here. Before we kind of... cloud it up over here. There is this kind of valley to the north that we'll kind of hint at. Other than that, finding some clouds. Oh, which cloud style did I use? Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it, man. I think it's these ones. No, they're like flatter than that. These ones? No. Oh, these ones. Okay. Oh, why do these have a color to them, though? I think these are those. I think these are the right clouds. Oh, these are the non... Okay. Oh my gosh, I just scrolled down. I gotta mountain up. All right. Okay. All right, good enough. I like that. Cool. Okay. So we got that done. Now from the other map, there's forest up here, and it's very dirt-like over here. And also, I don't know where the water goes here exactly. Because this is not like lower terrain. Where would it have carved a little path to the ocean? Where would that have happened? Does this flow north? Is that what this valley is? That is almost plausible. Let me take a... Gosh darn it. Let me take a look at that Temple map again. I have a second copy of Wonder Draft again, because I closed it too early. We've got some rivers coming down to Rudel. Temel, I mean. But nothing really hints at them coming from Rudel. Like, there's no rivers coming down that I have to obey for continuity purposes. There's a lot of trees up here, so, like, you know, that could suggest some water heading that way, but no river. So, I think we are fine to make the water kind of flow. Especially since, like, these mountains look taller than the ones up here, and it kind of tapers over. I think it makes sense for it to go north. So maybe like a big ol' lake or a couple of lakes, like kind of in the middle here. Maybe in the middle towards that side, right here. Then maybe something over here. Maybe even one over this way. we'll have a river kind of wrap around. Something like that. Figure out more in a bit. Could be another one up there, but I don't know. I feel like an amateur. I feel like I haven't done this in a bit. So there needs to be some mountains that are in the center-ish area of this. It can't be all kind of like flatlanded in this bowl. Well, it's only 10 o'clock. I should probably finish my coffee. Didn't have that much left, so it's probably I'll be totally fine. But let's see. Well, we already have exactly that pronounced mountain in the middle, so we can't have that. You know, maybe something like this. There's a little bit of a mountain system kind of cutting Rudel in half a little bit. Let's see. Water, river. Does not need to fade in. Something like that. Oh, and then we need the big ol' river coming out of this, snacking behind these mountains, and then fading out. Probably I'll just try to make it go behind this cloud, and then I'll forget it was ever there. Made a mistake leaving the fade in still on. Okay, that works pretty well. The mountain's cutting it off a little bit there, but it's fine. It's fine. I don't know if any of this makes a whole lot of geological sense, but it's fine. I don't care that much. I can, like, hint at some of these movements a little more with some mountains, though. I do like the idea that this is a very, like, mountainous kingdom. Medium satisfied with that so far. Oh, it's like falling behind a mountain there. That's weird. Okay. Okay. I don't know what much of this is going to look like yet, but that's fine. Okay, maybe it is like this North Country is known for being rugged and hilly, and then this valley over here, this stretch is like the flatland of it. Like, particularly this area, I suppose. So we'll go with that. Start painting in some colors on the terrain. And ground color brush. Never have a good green. I closed the gosh darn other map too early again. I need to just leave it open. Let's just assume, but I'm gonna need to look at Temel. Babbled a whole lot about this like darkened stretch of mountains, and I don't remember what exactly I babbled about it. Anyway, so the kind of like iron red color does extend over here, but then these mountains are not so iron red. We'll have a little bit of that here in the south, and then not so much in the north. It's kind of green over here. I guess it is kind of that darker green color. That is mostly fine. I guess I want to color the hills, yeah. We'll get some base coloration down and then go from there. I do think, oh shit. I do think a lot of this is going to be that kind of lush green. I need to be careful around the gosh darn mountains. Need to not paint huge swaths and then clip a mountain and turn it green. So we'll blend with this like lighter color in some places. Yuck. So this is very like lush and green over here, I would say. I'm not sure if that's going to be like the whole area or exactly how we're going to split it up. Some areas are going to be more wooded than others. But definitely this area by the rivers is going to be quite green. I forgot that I could just, like, turn off coloring mountains. Phil, where is it? Nope. Filter, not mountains. Okay, sick. It's acceptable that this would also be quite green over here. And then possibly less as we get up away from the water source. Down here, I said it was going to be a bit red. This we do actually want to color mountains. That's like too... I need a like ruddy, rusty red, not like a freaking bloody... Ah, they're all like the same color! Okay. Wrong. Where's Temel? It's like kind of bright red, actually. Okay, stop filtering mountains. Remember that we'll very easily color the clouds and stuff. Gosh dang it, dude. That's about right. Maybe? Yeah. It's a little paler, but it's fine. Oh god, that's so dark. You can blend some of this lighter color in. Okay. Clouds are so easy to just accidentally clip, man. Should fade to like a gray up here. Dude, I can get that brush size so huge, but I don't want it to hit the... Okay, hold on. Down with the brush size. Up with the opacity and velocity. Carve out. Tap these mountains. Love how that one turned green first. Okay. We'll just get the mountains the colors we want. Not green. I don't necessarily think those all need to be gray, I guess, but let me try to hunt for where the mountain turns colors. Go with a very wide-reaching approach for a moment. And now we can filter out the mountains. We'll, you know what? We'll catch these mountains real quick. Try to very surgically get these the right color too. Okay. Now, filter out the mountains and trees and everything. And then go back to big brush. I missed these, dude? Okay. There. Oh, this is kind of... Looks a little weird around some of the clouds. I might just delete that cloud, though. Okay, once this color is down... Oh, gosh darn it. We'll do some actual blending. Okay, and then we had that redder color over here. I thought I was filtering out the mountains. Okay. Now we turn off, turn down the opacity and velocity a little bit as we're brushing some of this in. Oh my gosh. This one's not... Okay. I missed one. Still pretty red. Where'd the gray go? Why are those so much grayer? Was it these? Which gray was I using? What the heck? Where'd it go? What in the world, dude? What color was I using? Why is this one so red? Is it just like an optical illusion? What's going... Is this the right color? Did I go up one? I guess so? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That looks better. Okay, turn off mountains again. Turn down opacity and velocity. Just get some texture in here with this. Okay. Oh. Tree's gonna work okay now that I've... Maybe I should have put the tree symbols down first, but alright. That's fine. Okay. Let's try to put some trees down. See how it goes. What types of trees were they? They're like just pine trees. Okay, just the inked pines. My good friends. Oh wait, that's not quite... Oh, is it the one labeled like Christmas tree? HD Christmas. I think it is. Yeah, it looks about right. Something like that. Yeah, maybe these valleys, they'll be coming down at big, like, pine forests. Paint in a little bit of that. Land, brush. I need to learn some of these hotkeys again. Gee, it's been a while. I wish is there like a bluish green? I love blue spruce. So we'll filter out all, turn on trees, and then we are only painting the trees. That's a bit bright, but that's fine. I kind of want to put something paler. Sorry, that was a absolute mash of syllables. Can I like dropper this? What the? Excuse me? That is none of this is correct. What are you doing? That ain't it, sir. Oh, there we go. Jesus. Okay, so you can just take that. You can like bring up the blue. Still want like a bluish green, so we'll take down the red a bit. Something like that, maybe? It's a little too blue. So maybe a bit more red just to bring it back to more gray. Yeah, that's like that kind of pale blue spruce pine that I like. We can leave some of them a bit more green. It's a very ominous track for just laying down some trees. Name color, blue spruce. So big on there. Okay. Alrighty. Symbols. I guess we can absolutely just deck out these hills with like I saw one in there get kind of collided with a hill. Like, I think that's fine, right? Right. And back to painting. G was the button. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, where do we want the castle to be? Where do we want the main city? I don't know why I like the idea of castles being like tucked up against mountains. Between mountains and lakes, even better. Ow, fuck. My desk said not a good idea. Don't do it. Could be up here. Could be right down here. Yeah. Thinking defensible locations, this is pretty good. Kind of like, you know, if whoever set up this capital was thinking defensively, being up against this mountain, having it be kind of like rough to march around this side, narrowing it down to like a, you know, to the space between these mountains and this lake. Probably not a bad idea. Okay, so maybe it's up there. If I can get the symbol for the city to look okay over there. I've gotten to the point where I've like put the same cities down so many times that I like look for ways to dress them up, like to layer buildings in front to kind of dress them up a little bit. Like this is not a good representation of the Rudelian city, I am certain. That is like too dressed up. This castle could be. Oh, I like that. Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's see. Okay. I think that fort there is like mostly abandoned. I think that's gonna be the deal there. Oh, I meant to do this in Rudelian colors for the roof. What even are Rudelian colors? Let's see. Kind of green and pinkish purple. Temelian colors are green and gold. Can I grab all of these? It's not gonna let me change the color, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. If I select single ones. Okay, sick. So it's kind of like purplish. It's a little bit more bright. I don't want it to be too loud, so maybe on the gray side, something like that. That's not bad. What the? I have to hit enter? Yes. Okay. What is this? Doesn't change anything. Yeah, I have no idea what that one is. How about the white? Nothing. Okay, so there's only one changeable color on that tile. That's fine. That's fine. Can I reset these? No. Okay. Whatever. Hello, Moto. How you doing? Sagejam Fs? What is Sagejam? What is an Fs? I always feel like there's infinite fighting game terminology to learn, and I don't know if it's fighting game terminology or if it's just like Fs in chat. But it doesn't make sense for that emote. I don't know, whatever. Oh my god, what am I doing? What's happening over here? I'm like scaling a mountain without realizing it. How'd I click on that? Get out of here. / Okay, that makes sense. How do you like Rudel so far? Is it everything you dreamed of? Are you mad that they didn't build their castle on clay mountains like Temel? Should this be bigger? I guess it's fine. We'll probably be about zoomed in here. It's fine. It doesn't need to be a comically large city. / does make sense for that emote, actually. Yes. I will accept that. Let's give this a save. I haven't manually saved in a while. Needs to be more on the lake. On the lake? Is this not on the lake enough? Does it should just be like dock status? Could work. Now I'm like, have I said something? Have I said something to suggest that, like, it needs to be on? Have I said something about its... What have I said? Oops. Oh, fuck. The scroll wheel is fucking dangerous. Where are we? Like there? Like there. I just wanted to zoom out, man. Then the castle grew by 20 sizes. Let's see. Castle like jutting out into the lake? That's fair. I can definitely do that. I can just move these around. That is not a problem for me. I never rode the bits under. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I will do that then. I will we'll have it right up against the lake. Maybe it has a moat. Maybe they've built a moat out of the lake. Like, you know, just kind of carved the grounds around the castle. That could be. That's fine. Okay. trying to get my last mastery point for Heart of Thorns. Like the last mastery point you need, or literally just the last mastery point available. Like you're just trying to finish it off. I'm feeling the mastery point crunch. The last one I needed to max out my HOT masteries. Okay, okay. I'm feeling the crunch on mastery points already. The game keeps telling me, like, you might want to invest your mastery points several different directions. Don't you want to access all of this right now? And I'm like, yes. But I don't want to hunt all these masteries. I just want to do the story. It hasn't really been that bad. I'm in like the second zone. Yeah, I'm in Heart of Thorns. I like how story relevant the like event in that area is. It very much feels like that whole zone is like the first chapter of the story, and it blends together with the like night event very well. Except maybe when you've done it 17 times. But the first couple times I was like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. HOT is so annoying, but it's peak Guild Wars 2. I can pretty much already agree with that. It is very much making me want to have the point in Glider where like you don't lose stamina for like hovering or whatever it is. Like you only lose stamina for tilting, leaning. I want that already. Okay. How much work do I do dressing up Rudel? Highly recommend that's yeah, I've been focusing on maxing out gliding, but it's like you might want to jump on mushrooms. You might want to be able to translate things or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, fucking all right. I suppose I'll get a point in these. Oh yeah, I was gonna a couple I don't know how much to like mark up. I guess in Temel, when we're in zoomed in as much as Temel is, I put down quite a few of these little towns and stuff and little points of interest. I could do some more of that. Over there. Bouncing mushrooms is very good since you don't have Springer. Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely drawn more towards maxing out the glider, but probably will have to get a couple points in the other stuff before I max glider out all the way. Oh, it didn't like save the... Okay, that's fine. I still have the code here. Leyline gliding feels good, man. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Yeah. I'm quite excited to unlock full glider. Even though I feel like glider gets trumped by mounts pretty quickly once you have like sky scale. But the glider is very nice to just have access to. Like, to just jump off of things and then like tap spacebar. I'm about that life for sure. That does not blend well with those trees. Oh, there. That's better. Sky scale makes every map bad. That's fair. All of these buildings are made at like slightly different angles to each other, and it bothers me. Like, it's not even incorrect to do that. Like, it's fine. It doesn't look bad, but it still bothers me. Chrono Jazz. Let's do that for a little bit. Suggest some farming communities over there. And there's probably just another town on this lake, let's be honest. I feel like, yeah, there's just like farmland markers somewhere. These are all at different angles too, and this bothers me much more. How much do I try to tile these? Kind of garbage. Well, that's looking okay. Thankfully, this last mastery isn't going to be too annoying. That's great. It is excellent to hear. Just need to score silver in any of the weird minigame things. Okay. Any of them? That's pretty cool. That's not bad. Think that's enough? Do you think that's enough symbolizing that this is the farming area? I don't like this one. I don't like these very much. We'll just leave these ones in the middle of the valley and call it good. I also don't like that this one's red. That all the other roofs in the region are the Rudelian, like, lavender. And then we've got this red jerk over here. But there's, yeah, this one's not done up. I have to call it would all be the same color. That doesn't work. Bummer. See what this looks like. See if we can do anything with that. The ones I haven't done. Okay. I can also do the very beginning of one event. I see. Does not sound like you are jumping at the opportunity to do that. Not trees. Yes, symbols. I guess the red one's fine. It's fine. Will not stop me from trying to drop her this. What the? Why? Why is the dropper so bad? I guess I could just paste it. That's fine. What, dude? Do I have to hit enter? Yes. Okay. Excellent. I don't like it. I don't like it. Get out of here. We'll leave the red one. Extras are 50 silver again. Is that up to 50 silver or down to 50 silver? Oh yeah, there was this cloud was bothering me. I think this cloud just needs to get out of here. I think we're just gonna delete that cloud. All right. This song started. It's a very pleasant song. And the picture that just like pops up, just like erupts into view, is this like kind of dark, ominous hallway. Got a cramped corridor. Taken at a high angle to make it look more cramped. Just very uninviting compared to this song. Okay. Let me take a peek. Take another peek at Lanova. Okay. Not super relevant to what I'm doing here, honestly. I guess this could be more... Yeah, this is probably less like dirt, and more like arid grasslands kind of thing. A bit more... Oops. Not mountains. Well, no, I needed to... I guess this is fine. That gets so bright. Okay. This, we'll need to hit some of the mountains up here. Mountains. We'll need some of the hills. We need to hit some of the hills up here. Up to. Gotcha. I wish it were easier to blend the hills to a different color. It's kind of like all or nothing, and if you like slightly tap them, they are super that color. I guess I can filter down to just mountains, and I can introduce my own variations. Well, now it's kind of working. That's weird. Wonder Draft, you're confusing sometimes. I guess if it's already like surrounded by a color, it jumps to that color more easily. That's kind of my guess for it. That looks pretty all right. Should probably turn the opacity and velocity up a little bit again. But if you do want smoother blends, this is how you do it. Like very low painting force. Do you want to back off of this color up here a little bit? Seeing some of the hills like jump back to the other color again. All right, kind of happy with that. From 40 when the new festival began, and that price was up from 30. Okay, jeez. Can you... Huh. I don't know enough about this game. I don't know enough about Guild Wars. I just have, like, no idea how the festival interacts with Ecto in particular. I know that you can trade in materials for the boxes. There's an Ecto gambling. Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense to me then. Hatch Pines. I don't really think pine trees tend to grow in sparse singletons like this, but whatever. People save up all their ectos for a whole year just for this event. Holy. Okay, I do like the trees over here. It really drives the point home that this part is flat and open more. We'll fill in some of this hilly area with bushes and shrubs. Playful grass. That sounds great. Kind of. Well, just a little bit of that made this map look much more like lived in. I like that. Some bushes in over here. I think it's kind of a different climate over here. We'll let the weird blue spruce be the main thing over there. That's fine. Okay. I'm feeling pretty happy with that, really. Maybe I pop up a couple more houses in kind of the middle area. Jesus, why is the tower? I ask this every time I click this tower. Why is it so much bigger than the other buildings in this style? Like this is the same scale as these houses. It does not look like it. Ugh. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, I quite like how that suddenly turned out. I'm liking it. I don't feel like I have to tinker with this too much more. I think it's pretty good. I have some thinking to do about different locations on the map offline, but I think this is mostly where it's mostly how it's going to stay. Right. Let's see. Thought about playing a little bit of game toward the end of stream, but I think we'll leave that for next time because I got on a little bit late. And I'm going to have to walk the doggo in a little bit, grab dinner and stuff. And yeah. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight. And yeah. I'm quite pleased with the prep that we have done. Quite pleased, quite pleased. We're going to find somewhere to raid. So, yeah, we got our weekly prep sheet done. That was a good time. Got some excellent ideas from chat on that. And then the map worked out very well. Gosh darn it. Restart to keep using fire. What? Man, I don't want to. I don't want to restart Firefox. All right, let me just go see. I'm not logged in to Twitch on anything else. Whatever, man. We'll do it. You know what? We'll make you happy, Firefox. We'll give you a restart. Because I don't want to log into Twitch on Microsoft Edge. Ugh. All right. My 70 Firefox windows are open on the main screen. Okay. Twitch.tv/ I don't actually know how to get to following anymore. I used to have that memorized. Okay. It took Firefox a long time to reopen those windows. I see Voraktee is on. Voraktee is playing some Sea of Thieves. So maybe we'll hang out there. It's been a little while. Been a little while since we raided Voraktee. Since we raided Voraktee every night. So we can restart that tradition again today. You know, if we get back into that habit, we'll just get back into all the same streaming habits, and it means I will stream again more easily, right? Right. We'll start that raid. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out for some GM prep. I had a good time tonight. I'm going to try to hop on and do more GM prep next week. As discussed, we have a lot of things to draw up that aren't on the overworld as much, so that will be a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to do prep every week again, but we'll see how well I stick to that. I'm also gonna try to be doing music. I'm gonna be doing music on Monday, I think. I think the plan is we're gonna be back Friday with more GM prep, and then we'll be back Monday with some music. And maybe we'll sneak in an extra music stream somewhere because I have to get another song released on the Patreon on the 15th. I have started to regularly release music there, so if you want to check out the Patreon sometime, I don't have a command set up for it, so Google 20-sided songs and find it yourself. I'll have a command set up to make it a little bit easier in the future. We are going to be, for a little while, converting some, like, the existing soundtrack that I have released into 16-bit, and I'm going to be releasing that for free, and that's kind of the current project that I'm on, is converting those songs. So I'm going to try to get some of that in this week, when I can slip it in. Before the 15th. So, for now, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll catch you all again real soon. Goodbye!